All right, everybody, welcome back. I am so excited to be back with you today and with our guest, Megan Kuiper. Megan is a life and leadership coach, speaker, high performance coach, and runs a ton of amazing programs, really helping people to step into their power, to shine, and really become authentic to who they are. So I had an opportunity to meet Megan and we've worked together. And let me just tell you that, Megan, you are such a bright light
Oh,
for so many people. Every time that I see you and talk to you and see you online and we have conversations, I just feel like happier and brighter and more energized. So thank you so much for joining us today.
thank you. Thank you. I'm so pumped to be here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to just dive right in. And I just want you, Megan, to share more about yourself and what it is that you do.
Awesome. Well, I am pumped to be here. So thanks for the nice introduction. I have been a corporate leader for Target I'm in my 22nd year, and I'm also a mom and a wife. We have three boys. We have two high schoolers and an almost fifth grader. And in the last several years, I've jumped into life and leadership coaching, and it has been transformative as it relates to really helping women and leaders live their most fulfilling life while crushing their career goals and their life goals. And I recently felt the calling to take it to a bigger stage and bigger platform, and that's where I am so grateful that I got connected to you and have started keynote speaking this year. And the opportunities I've had so far definitely make me so inspired to keep doing it and sharing the good news that we can do all the things as parents and as working women and men as it relates to running a positive household and family life while also crushing your career goals and inspiration or aspirations that way too.
Oh my gosh, love it. So, what actually got you into? So, you've been in leadership for a long time, and a lot of the people who listen into this podcast are either leaders within organizations or they are growing their own business, so they're leaders. So, obviously, leadership is a big part of what I talk about. And I think there's this like leadership development mindset, but then there's like this whole other piece of like the self and personal development journey that takes you down, I feel like, an even like deeper path. What got you into this space of really personal development, Megan?
Yes. So I love sharing my story because if I can share it more and more and help others not beat the odds, but basically maneuver through the ups and downs of life in a more positive direction, that's really where I feel like my purpose lies. And just not many years ago, I was actually in a really tough spot. I came out of the womb with all the energy and positivity and have always had a can do attitude as it relates to feeling like I can do all the things and drive all the goals I want to achieve and things like that. But in my mid to upper 30s, I really got into a rough spot where I unintentionally got my worth tied up in my career. And over time,
Mm.
it led to anxiety and stress. And the crazy thing was, I hid it all. And it finally came to a head. And in that time, I, for the first time, learned what anxiety and panic attacks were and things like that. And what really got me out of that hard time while still parenting and having an amazing husband that was supporting me, but still that wasn't enough. I needed help essentially. And leaning into personal development and my own health and wellness journey was really where the game started to change for me. And I invested in my own health coach. Invested in a mindset coach and really started creating a community around me that was uplifting, balanced, and one that started to detach that attachment I had to my career. And it didn't mean that I needed to quit my job or anything like that, but I needed to find and regain clarity and purpose around who I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up. And I want to be a thriving mom and wife first, and then figure out how I can do all the other things as well. And I really had to recalibrate. But during that really recalibration of myself, I realized I could help others do the same, as I started to look around me and see so many people being burned out from working, a full day of work, coming home, getting their laptop out at night and continuing that
Mhm.
trend. And if I can help another person change their own trajectory or their own emotions, that's what I want to do. So I love the idea that
Mhm.
at any stage of our life journey, we can change the game, we can change our story, and we don't need to live in that hardship. And we can instead grow and learn. So that's kind of my story, and one that I feel many need to hear, because there is more to life than just kind of working ourselves and grinding all the time.
Oh my goodness, there's like so much gold in what you just said. And some of the words, Megan, that really stood out that you said was your worth, and your worth being tied into your work. And this is such a topic that I talk about. And particularly, we both work with people who are high performers, high achievers. And that so often is related, that they tie their worth and their whole identity into their work. And what happens when you lose that work, or when you get let go, or you decide it's no longer serving you, and all of a sudden your whole sense of worth that was wrapped up into this one thing. And I would imagine you see that a lot with clients and things that you work with as well.
Yes, it's really hard to, when you're in it, it's really hard to detach from it. And at the same time, it's that hard work that you put into improving yourself that actually helps you start again detaching from that story of feeling like you're not enough unless you're achieving this credential or this amount of income or this ranking in your job. Um, and I want to be a role model to all those around me, including the people I lead,
Mhm.
boys, of course. And I want them to see that working is joyful and not a stress environment all the time. And that was the road I was on for way too long. But yeah, it is such a freeing feeling to know that you can create boundaries and healthy routines that all of a sudden realign your, values in your life.
That boundaries word too. I feel like that's a word that means a lot of different things to people, and people don't necessarily know how to do that. What would you say was one of the biggest things that you did around setting boundaries that's helped you on that journey?
Just simple things, even that I love to talk about with my clients, is really living a distraction free life. So when I walk in the door, I put my phone on, like, I don't get notifications, because I can be tethered to
Mm.
looking at updates on my phone all the time. And really writing down the distractions that are creating a long workday for you. And how do you create a routine? For me, I really believe in starting your morning with movement and taking care of yourself before you serve anyone else. So I have a boundary of, I don't look at any social media or email or anything before I've served myself every morning. So, for example, I wake up, I read a Bible verse, I do some gratitude, and I jump right into my workout before looking at anything where I'd be serving someone else first. Because the minute we read that email from work that maybe is discouraging or frustrating, you all of a sudden have changed your mindset into all of a sudden serving others, and you completely have thrown your own self out the window at that point. I believe.
Mhm.
So it starts in the morning, and then I give my all to my team and all my priorities at work. And then when I get home, I'm all in with my fam. And it's really important too, because I want to teach my kids the same kind of behavior and not always being available. So those are some simple boundaries that have really helped me thrive in the time blocking I'm giving to myself and to others throughout the day.
I feel like, Megan, you're talking to me. So this is so interesting, because this is something that's I know is so important. I'm such a morning routine person as well. And as I've grown in my business and as things gets busier, those boundaries can be really easy to get more blurred. So I had a very strict boundary around, my morning time and doing my gratitude and not looking at my email and working out. And then it's like one day, oh, I'm going to quick check my email, and that turns into the next day. And then all of a sudden you find that, oh my goodness, I'm starting my day looking at my email. And just like you said, now my mind's on that instead of on myself. And so this is just a good reminder for myself and for other people, is either, if you don't have that boundary yet, start to establish what those look like. And if you start to let them slip, come back to what you know is going to serve you best to set up your day for success.
Yes. And I think of you and like how much you enjoy what you do. Sometimes those emails give you
Mm-hmm.
joy, and that's okay. But still, taking care of yourself and your well-being first, even before leaning into that joyous feeling and that just sucks you into keep wanting to work, 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 is important too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's such a good point too. Like we hear burnout, and I feel like a lot of the times when people hear that, because this is such a big word now for so many people are experiencing burnout. We look at the rates and the statistics, and people leaving workplaces or just getting burned out from all of the things. I think a lot of people when they think of burnout, they think it's because you're unhappy with where you're at or you don't enjoy what you're doing, which I think is the case a lot of the times. But we also, like you just alluded to, like we can get burnout from pouring ourselves so much into the thing that we love that all of a sudden we kind of have put water on the flame because we've given so much of ourselves into
Yeah.
it, even if we loved to do it, that we forget, like, okay, wait, I still need to step back and like take care of myself too.
Yes, it's so true. Especially, I work with high achievers, and I feel like you are too, of course. And we just have that
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't stop flickering inside of us. And um, when I think of boundaries, I always think of the word courage because you really have to have the courage to say no to things. And I'm a recovering people pleaser, yes, person for sure. But making sure you have courage to say no. I always say being the master of distraction removal is really important. And just making sure that you're communicating all these things with those that matter most because they want to help you succeed too. So they'll help you keep those boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
honor them too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so good. And Megan, what made you? I'm always curious about this. Like, so you dove into this world for yourself of this personal development and your health and wellness, and you noticed the impact that it had for you. What made you go from, okay, I'm going to do this to for myself to now, wow, I want to help other people do this through your coaching and now speaking? Like, what made you decide I want to make this beyond just myself?
Well, I love to storytell just in day to day, and I just found myself gushing about all these amazing life learnings I was having in all my different spaces, in my friend groups, in my family, at Target, and all these different spaces. And then I just felt like, holy cow, I can get organized and create a course or a group coaching kind of environment where I can invite leaders and women in. And when I started thinking of that, I am always thinking about what I want someone to feel and gain from what I'm sharing. And that's what fills me up. And so I want, and today is the same thing, I want others to know that there is a life beyond. I'm so busy. I don't have time.
Hmm.
I'm exhausted. How do you have all that energy you have? Because the truth is, none of us have all this energy. We have to, generate it and have intention around it to actually create it. And then when you start doing work that is so freaking energizing and fulfilling, it's like just lit this whole fire in me of like, hold on, this is my purpose, I feel like. And so it's just been the most beautiful thing that's been unfolding over the last 18 months. And I just can't wait to keep making an impact. But in 6 weeks in my Time to Shine
Hmm.
course that I offer, the transformations that are happening are they're very moving. And it's
Hmm.
mostly been women, but they're having transformations around, like, to your point, burnout in their health journey. So it really has nothing to do with their um, career or whatnot, or they've recovered from burnout of thoughts that really aren't true, that have just been stories that they've been telling themselves for so many years, and they're freeing themselves from these stories. And I'm watching them
Hmm.
like start writing books and do these incredible things that are like their passion that they've just kind of kept close to them or not even explored. So it's been really neat. It's My course is called
Hmm.
Time to Shine, and genuinely I'm watching the shining start like taking off, and it's really, really neat. So that's back to your original question, just all these examples of my own journey shifting and changing in the best way. And now seeing it come, play out through others has just ignited this like fire in
Hmm.
me that I want to share this with the world more and more. Because at the end of the day, we all should live
Hmm.
a fulfilling life.
Hmm. Ooh,
And
I love that. Just like ignite this fire. And it is once you get like the taste of impacting people and sharing your story and what's changed your life, it's almost like you feel this obligation in a good way to help other people. It's like you don't want to keep this secret to yourself that there can be this joy and this fun and this fulfillment in your life.
yes, 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 yes.
So, so one of the big things that you mentioned was like your story and how your story is what I always tell people too when especially when they get into speaking and using their voice more is how your story activates something in other people and people see themselves in you. And so as you mentioned before, so you've been a speaking client of mine and helping you to just get this light that you have out into the world, which is one of my greatest honors, is to help other people just get their voice out there and have this ripple effect into the world with the message. Megan, what did you have you discovered about yourself on the journey of digging into your story to be able to share it and get on stages and get in front of people? What do you think has been some of the biggest insights for you as you've gone through the journey?
Well, I used to, I don't know if it was fear or doubt, but I used to just feel like my story really wasn't anything special. Like I just felt like,
Mm,
is it really worth sharing? And are other people feeling this way? And maybe I'm just alone. And really busting through that limiting belief has been really instrumental because I think we can tell ourselves we have different soundtracks playing in our head and stories we tell each other all the time, or ourselves all the time. But one of my greatest learnings has been like to keep sharing because it can change someone's
mm,
um, life and also just give them permission to know that they are normal and they can also make
mm,
a change even if they're feeling this way now. It's not a lifelong sentiment or feeling they always have to carry with them. So I think the power I have, I'm also a health and wellness coach. And so I have coaches on my team, and I always am encouraging them to tell their story because not one of us have the same story. And it's still being written, right? It's not
mm,
over. And that is who your people are that you want to attract and serve and things like that. The ones that you can really, that they can relate to one another really well. And one thing that was really neat in my last speaking presentation was the amount of men that reached out to me after. And it was really a
mm,
beautiful thing because it's there's no traditional household anymore, which is really special. And there's a lot of men that grabbed pieces of my story that shared that they want to better serve their partners now because of the messages I was sharing and want to be better support systems for them. So that was really neat to see too, that it's not just, a
mm.
woman's overload that is being hurt. My story was touching the men in the room too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that just gives me goosebumps. Like that's the power, right? Like that's the thing is like when you get out there and you share your story and like reminding yourself that your story matters. That's a beautiful message that you share with people and we can share with other people is your story matters wherever you're at and however you're sharing your story and your gifts, whether it's, at work with friends and family, if it's just being more authentic to yourself, if it is you wanting to get out there and get on stages in front of people to share your story, like your story matters and that you are going to reach people in a way that you probably don't even fully realize and the impact that that has, which Megan leads me to one of the questions I love to ask people. And I probably asked you this when we first started working together when it came to getting clear on your story, but is if you could shake people and tell them one thing, Megan, what would it be?
I would say you are enough. You are enough as you are today,
Mm,
right this very moment. And once we write that down and actually believe it and give ourselves grace for who we are and actually give ourselves appreciation, the amount of radiance we can exude to the world is just limitless. And that's something that I've even overcome myself because I'm someone that always feels like I need to be striving for the next thing and hitting a next goal that I've given myself and so forth. But really sitting in that moment of feeling like I am enough as I am today. I don't need to weigh 5 pounds less. I don't need to have this credential or that. It is the most beautiful thing. And so many people come to me feeling not enough in too many ways, and it's holding them back from living really joyous days.
What a beautiful, beautiful message. Yeah, just if you're listening to this and you need to be reminded, you need to like rewind this podcast part and listen to Megan say that beautiful statement again of just you are enough as you are right now. You don't need to change to be anything else, to get more, to achieve more, you high achievers. You're
Yes.
good enough as you are. And then, Megan, another question I love to ask people towards the end here is so the name of my podcast is It Starts With You. And I always like to open it up to ask you, what does that mean to you? It starts with you.
I have my own life coach, and I was recently asked um, what my legacy is and what kind of legacy I
Mm.
want to leave when I pass, and what is my family legacy going to be. And actually, I'm going to dig deep to not get emotional about it, but it does start with us as first, just our whole self feeling that we are enough, and really thinking about when you say it starts with you or it starts with me, either way. I want to be known for leaving this earth and inspiring people and exuding love for others and lifting others up, and you know living and acting with integrity and trust and all those things. And um it starts with me, and back to what I originally said, if I'm not serving myself every morning and filling myself up, I really can't exude those behaviors all day long. um and a recent challenge that my coach gave to me was, how am I leading my family in that way? And so, um, like I said, we have high school boys and a younger one too, but he challenged me at a family dinner to ask everyone what they thought our family values were. And as you can imagine, I had some creative answers from my
Mm.
high schoolers. But it was really special to hear after all the joking around, what that meant to them. And um, we still are getting a plaque that will be private to us of what our values are. But for us to uphold those values as a family, it starts with each of us in the five of, each individual person in my family upholding those values ourselves. So I love your podcast title, and that's what that means to me. And it's a conversation
Mm.
continually having in my household too, to help my children leave our home someday and be really aware that it does start with them as an individual to uphold these values and all that kind of stuff. So yes.
Oh, that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that and for sharing that piece of how people can bring this beyond themselves, right? I love that you're doing that with your family. What a cool idea that get everyone aligned on like what we all have our own values, what are our values as a family, and that all of us individually make up the dynamic of that family. So what an amazing amazing thing that you're doing and for teaching your kids that because I think we both would probably agree that if we had learned all of the things we know now through coaching as kids, like just think some of how we could have navigated some things. Oh, Megan, this has been such a beautiful conversation. So I want to hear a little bit more. You mentioned your course, Your Time to Shine. So tell us more about that and what it is that you have coming up.
Yes. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm so excited because later this month, I'll be kicking off my fourth round of my high performance live group coaching Time to Shine course. But before I offer that, I'm really excited to offer to you all a free webinar that I'm holding this upcoming Monday at
Mm.
8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central Time. And it's called Bloom, and it is a tool to help you blossom from burnout. And I'm going to be sharing 3 tips to revitalize your life. And I'm so excited for this opportunity to share with you all a little piece of what you will get in that 6-week course. And I'm excited to bring to my audience tactical things that they will be able to walk away after my Monday night 30-minute webinar and be like, I can start this today. And the truth is, in all the things I teach and coach people through, it's not complex, but it helps you find meaningfulness in the mundane things that we do every day. And it helps us stay connected to those that matter most and really continue to grow. So I'm so excited to offer that free opportunity in just days from now. And so if you go to my website, it's www.megan/kuiper.com. You can register for the free webinar right at the top. And I would love to have you all on there Monday night coming up.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so tell us more. The time to shine. Who is this at? Who is this for? And what is like the biggest takeaway?
Sure. So the actual course is really built for high achieving, career driven moms and women that have really reached a spot in their life that they feel like they know they're meant for more, but they're stuck. And again, this
Mm.
can be rooted in, being your worth, like I was sharing earlier, your worth tied too much to your career or feeling stuck in your health journey, but just feeling like you don't have that sense of fulfillment and joy that you once had. And also, it could be you're stuck in a relationship, you're stuck in some kind of journey you're on, and I will help you get unstuck and bring back joy and fulfillment in your days. And so each week builds on the next. And the first week is a discovery week where you really are able to hone in on what pillar of your life per se that you feel like needs the most work or that you would like to see the most growth in. And then we jump right into the next week that really talks about how you generate energy in your day, in your life. And then we jump into finding even more deeper clarity around what your vision is for yourself and for your family. And then the next thing that pops up is really learning how to create boundaries and have courage to do so. And then
Mm.
by the end, you will create a purpose statement that you can hang on your steering wheel. I have mine hanging in the bathroom, and my family sees it, and I'm very out there with it. But really, will be your morning mantra that you can wake up and say, "This is who I am, and this is my purpose, and I'm going to live it today and every day going forward."
Oh, that is amazing. Oh my goodness. Megan, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your energy, your light,
Thank
and we will be sure to drop in the show notes all of the contact information so that you can surround yourself with Megan as well. You can follow her and we'll drop more information about her program that she mentioned. So, Megan, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. This is wonderful. Thanks for all you do for so many.
Awesome. Thank you. Till next time.